Today's episode of The Unwritten Rule is presented by FanDuel. We ended the show with our wild card round. I'm already on the divisional. Wild card round best beats. So look forward to that. And you get to look forward to that at the end of a very packed show. We led things off with me and Payton actually on Wednesday night recapping the Kentucky game. Talked all about that one and how Mizzou pulled that out, are somehow 2-0 for the first time ever, and have now pulled off a win in Rupp Arena for the first time ever. A lot of milestones being hit by a team that we weren't expecting to hit much of anything in terms of success in the big 2026. And here they are doing it. So me and Payton recap that. Great conversation, just delved into the win, basically everything you've wanted to hear from in terms of a recap for Mizzou men's basketball beating Kentucky. And then Kenny was on. We managed to pull him out of the transfer portal. He's not in the transfer portal transferring, but he's in the portal, evaluating and looking and intelling for Mizzou. And it's a very busy time for him right now because Mizzou has been active in the portal. We talked about a bunch of the new additions, talked about Damon Wilson leaving as well. We actually started that segment with that. So that is obviously a very, very big deal, not in a good way for Mizzou. We kind of talked about the implications for that, how it came to be, all that stuff with Kenny, and then broke down all of the additions for Mizzou in the portal. So, plenty to dive into. And then quick hits, like I said, had a wild card round best beats, talked a couple of the transfers out who have found new homes, talked about the Damon Williams situation, which has since been resolved. I'm recording this on Thursday night. We talked about Damon Williams before we knew that he's actually going to come back to Washington. So a little spoiler alert for that segment. And shout out to Marvin Burks for transferring to a place very near and dear to my heart. We'll talk about that in quick hits. This has been the intro. We will kick it to me and Payton recapping Kentucky.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Friday, January 9th. I think we're going to lead with this, Payton. I don't know. I mean, transfers have been good, but Mizzou men's basketball is 2-0 for the first time ever since they joined the SEC. And I think that is a cause to open the show. So that's what I'm going to decide. We're going to just open the show with that. Payton and I are coming at you from the past Wednesday evening, in fact, at around 8:30 p.m., right after Mizzou just beat Kentucky 73-68. As I mentioned, they are now 2-0 in the SEC, a 2-0 start in the SEC for the first time ever. They've just pulled off their first win at Rupp Arena, Payton. I'm still a little bit just shocked. This felt to me that it was going to go the way of many a Mizzou football game this season where, Missouri's always in a position to win this game, but it didn't feel like, frankly, that they were going to pull it out. The win probability thing on ESPN, which I always like looking at, with 4:37 left in the second, they had an 8.7% chance of winning. They were down 66-58. They went on a 15-2 run over the final 4:24. And an 8-0 run over the final minute 14 to win the game. And just like that, a team that has lost to Illinois by 40 not 3 weeks ago is now 2-0 in conference for the first time ever, with wins over the defending national champions Florida and a road win over albeit this does not
reeling.
Does not appear to be a very good Kentucky team, but a Kentucky team nonetheless on the road. And Dennis Gates is 2-0, Payton. Let's start with the end. That was, I felt like it's close to a masterclass as you can get in terms of the final counter punch after it's felt like this game was over with 4 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of moments where this game felt like it was both getting out of control and like slipping away at the same time. Like, I mean, the end of half sequence was such a disaster. I thought there was no chance Missouri was going to win after that. You are up 6 with 17 seconds left. You foul, whatever. Still up 4. You can hold for final shot. You throw a pass to Narnia, and it's scooped up by Owe, who hits a 80-footer to go down 1 at the half, I thought. And Kentucky came out of half on an 11. Like, that helped key an 11-0 run coming out of the half, too.
They were undefeated, I think, when they had gone on runs of 10 or more. Which Payton, what do we call that?
That's a kill shot.
My favorite stat.
Kill shot run. But no, I mean, it felt like this game was starting to get away from Missouri, but credit Dennis Gates and this team, a team that every single Missouri fan, even the most optimistic of optimistic, wrote off after bragging rights, fought back, found a way to keep in the fight. They even took the lead briefly, but I mean, they had to survive counterpunch after counterpunch. I mean, Kentucky, every time Missouri would occasionally take the lead or like scratch it back down to 2 or 3 points, it felt like Kentucky would just get a backbreaker of a 3 or like just a poor offensive possession. And it just never felt like Missouri, to me at least, was going to win this game after that OA 80-footer up until Mark Mitchell hit that left-handed shot to give them the lead. Give credit to Dennis Gates. The lineups felt goofy at times. Again, there was a lot of Nick Randall in this game. 10 minutes of Nick Randall, only 3 for Luke Northweather, which is interesting. And I won't say they were all bad minutes by any stretch. I thought Nick Randall, he was scrappy. He had 4 rebounds. He gave them a few really good minutes of defense on Quintance, I thought. By the way, Quintance was not even the best transfer named Jaden involved with this game. Dennis Gates does it again, folks. But, I mean, in the final 4 minutes, Dennis Gates played it perfectly. I mean, he made like perfectly timed subs. Like he was able to get Phillips in for defense and able to get Cruz in when they needed free throws. He didn't, I thought, at times, I like that Dennis Gates draws up plays for different players, like that Trent Burns 3 against Florida. I thought that was a brilliant play. But I loved that when the chips were down, or the cards were down, whatever the saying is, you know what I mean?
Chips are down. Yeah, you got it.
You needed to get a bucket. He gave it to his best player, and he paid off that decision. And again, your 2 best players on this team, Anthony Robinson and Mark Mitchell, played 36 minutes and 37 minutes. Well done, Dennis Gates. Sometimes it's that simple to me. I thought Dennis Gates pushed all the right buttons down the stretch. This Kentucky team could not stop turning the ball over. You could tell this was a weird environment, this game. Rupp was tense. It was really quiet to start the game. And it felt like the pressure was really mounting. And down the stretch, when Missouri was starting to throw its final shot at Kentucky, they just did not respond well. They turned it over.
It went from like 60 to 0. Like as much as it got up when they started, scoring and they went on that 11-0 run, like they got up big, and then Missouri punched them back in the mouth, and like everyone in the building, including the players, just folded for them.
Yeah, it's an interesting year. I mean, we're not a Kentucky podcast, so we're not going to discuss all that. But
right,
I mean, that's a team that was a preseason SEC number 1. I picked them to win the conference, I think. I don't remember who you picked, but I definitely picked them to win the conference. And it has not turned out that way. And I mean, Missouri, credit to them. I mean, it felt like the pressure was building, and Missouri was the one to take advantage of it. They did not blink in this game, and Kentucky absolutely did.
I think I picked Vanderbilt, so I'm looking okay. I think I picked Vanderbilt or Alabama to do it.
Well, they're playing right now, and Vanderbilt is proving how legit they are right now.
Yeah,
I'll say that much.
that team's great. You and I are both Mark Byington people. Anyway,
Mhm.
I know there was some debate with the end, with the the whole foul. Should Dennis have fouled up 3? You know, he ended up playing it straight up. I'm normally a pretty big advocate of the foul up 3 thing, Payton, but this to me is I think we can make a larger, interesting point about this team. First of all, they were darn lucky that they were even up 3 in the first place because they missed the front end of that 1-and-1. Stone gets the great tap out,
Pierce saved
tapped
their
it out.
ass.
Yeah, Pierce
on
taps
that
it
one.
out. Stone gets it and then is able to make the 2 free throws. For me, like it felt like a little bit of a rock and a hard place where, and they talked about it on the broadcast, Missouri's willing to give up 3s normally. That's kind of how their defense plays. But at the same time, with how bad they were at shooting free throws, I kind of didn't mind Dennis not wanting to get into a free throw contest with Kentucky to, if you foul up 3, they make 2 free throws, pressure's back on you to make 2 more. You miss the front end of the 1-and-1, they score, game's over, and they win. I kind of don't. And with just how much Kentucky was slumping at the end of the game, they hadn't hit a shot in forever. You can see if you're watching on the YouTube, on the stat broadcast we have up, 217 scoring drought. You had gotten multiple stops. I really liked Dennis just trusting his defense there, and it paid off for him. Mark Mitchell had a great contest on Jalen Lowe, and he missed it by a mile.
Yeah, I mean, I get the argument. I'm still always a foul up 3 guy. I still probably would have done it there, but I mean, like you said, it's understandable why Dennis wouldn't do that. They'd played. I honestly thought like Mizzou, the main reason they were able to win this game was I thought they played great defense for a lot of it. Kentucky really could not get anything going early. I will say, like, Missouri had some rather sloppy transition moments. It felt like pretty much every 3-pointer Kentucky made was in transition. But for the most part, I really liked how they played. So trusting your defense there was fine. And obviously they were guarding the line. They were not going to let anything beat them out there, like they have in a couple instances in the past. And yeah, they got it to Lowe, who shot just 2 for 11 in this game. And Lowe, I don't think he had to take that shot, but he forced that one, and it was not even close. And yeah, I mean, and you say they shouldn't have even been up 3. I agree. They probably should have been losing at that point because, I mean, they threw the Hail Mary pass that was complete, Pierce to Stone, and then Stone, for whatever reason, goes up for the basket and gets blocked. They were lucky always somehow missed that.
That was
end.
ridiculous. I credit to Chandler. I mean, you're right. Stone shouldn't have gone up with it in the first place, but that was a hell of a play to block that and then save it inbounds to your teammate. And yeah, of all people, Otega Owe, who I have enjoyed watching the past few seasons in the SEC, just objectively, him of all people missing a point blank layup is shocking. Frankly, Kentucky missing a point blank layup compared to like Mizzou in that situation surprised me. They were 6 for 13 on layups. Mizzou is 9 for 18. That's far too many misses for me if you're Mizzou. But yeah, that was a total bailout. Should have been probably a pump fake there for Stone. But hey, you need a little luck on your side in some of these games, and you make your own luck. Missouri was in that situation because of what they were doing beforehand and got out of there with a win. So very impressive. Mark Mitchell again, awesome. What did you make of Ant? How do you think he followed up? Obviously, his best game of the year against Florida, 9 points, 10 assists. He had 4 rebounds, 36 minutes, only 3 turnovers. I thought followed it up pretty soundly. Didn't hit a 3, but he's never been the most consistent 3-point shooter as much as you maybe hope he can be. I thought he was solid. Obviously, Mark Mitchell did his thing.
Yeah, I thought Ant was good. 4 for 9 from the field, didn't reach double-digit points, but I mean, I still thought like he was probably like most of the time he was on the floor, he was very good. He really needs to clean up the free throws. It's inexplicable to me that someone that has as nice a mid-range as him, and at times has such a beautiful shot on his three-pointers, just can't figure out free throws, but you take the good with the bad. Only 2 fouls for him, again, against a talented guard in Owe a lot of the night. I mean, he might have been preseason SEC player of the year. I don't know, but
yes,
he was.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's who Ant had to guard a lot of the night, so I thought it was a good effort. 10 assists also. Missouri had 20 assists on 27 made shots. That'll play. That is a great effort in that department.
That compares to 16 for 22 for Kentucky, by the way, if you want a point of comparison there, because I think you're right.
Both did pretty well in that.
Both are good, and I think that's a huge thing for Missouri going forward is the way they are pretty unselfish. Man, Jaden Stone. I mean, if there's I don't think you can give a comeback player of the year award in college with how short this season is, but man, he's an early candidate for it because this team's offensive just prowess, I don't know what the better word for it is, has just totally flipped with him out there. He can be a go get me a bucket guy. He has the composure to pump fake on a three and make one and move a defense around with how he moves off ball. He's fantastic. He rebounds. He led the team in rebounding, and I thought some of them were so vital. They went with that small lineup where they had Randall out there without any one of Mitchell Northweather or Sean Phillips, and he got some big time rebounds with Quaintance out there, with some of those other bigs like Garrison, Mo Diabate. I'm very familiar with his game. That guy can rebound. I thought Missouri to compete really well on the boards again. They only lost at 31 to 29. That feels like a major key for this team going forward. On the other side of that, it's nice that you don't have to lead with the negative. And credit to him, maybe the most fun, aesthetically pleasing play of the game was that double screen that turned into a lob dunk for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Phillips had some rough moments otherwise there, Payton.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the box score, it doesn't really. I mean, 4 for 5, but only 1 board, 1 assist, 4 fouls. I mean, I thought the game essentially ended when he kind of got knocked off balance, or maybe just straight up tripped and somehow didn't get called for a travel and just kind of threw the ball up and it got swatted away by, I don't even remember who. I think it might have been Garrison. I don't remember. It wasn't Garrison, I don't think. But that led to a 3 on the other end. Kentucky grew their lead to 8 after that. It was rough night for Phillips for the most part, but like you mentioned, I mean, he still found a way to have a couple really big buckets. He had that push shot that gave them a 51-49 lead. That dunk made it a 1-point game.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was right before the turnover.
Yeah, so I mean, but like you mentioned, I mean, Missouri's bigs were totally out. It wasn't really, I think, talent wise even comparable. But again, if you can get the effort on the boards Missouri has gotten against Florida, who's the best rebounding team they're going to face all year, and now Kentucky, who has way better bigs than Missouri in my mind. And by bigs, I'm of course talking about purely the 5. Mark Mitchell might have been the best big on the floor tonight in general, but if you get that effort and the defense we've seen in the first 2 games, this Missouri team can absolutely make some noise in a pretty down SEC year. I do want to touch, I didn't mention it with Ant, but one thing I noticed with Ant, and I've had this thought during Florida too, Missouri has become, I don't know if this was a big teaching point finally, because it's been something we've been screaming about for 4 years. It feels like they're jumping a lot less on shot fakes. Ant had a really nice, Owe tried to shot fake him and then tried to drive. Ant broke down. It was very sound defense. It just feels like Missouri's playing smarter, more heads up, sound defense as of late.
I noticed a few that they got a little jumpy, but I think it was more of maybe some of the late closeout stuff that still is kind of a problem that,
their transition defense at times was really bad.
Yeah. So it might have been more on, It might have been more on plays like that, where they are already a step late and they think they need to make up for it by lunging at the guy and contesting the shot. And then it's just an easy head fake, take a dribble and shoot. But that's fair. I think, Missouri's defense definitely these last 2 games has looked, much improved overall. They have made people work for buckets, especially inside. Well, they said it on the broadcast. I think the number was 47% of teams' shots are from beyond the arc. So they, absolutely are trying to make, you saw it a couple of times with trying to make that shell with the zone and just not let a team funnel their way into the paint. Kentucky doesn't have a ton of really good 3-point shooters. By the way, speaking of, I absolutely lost it when you called Mr. Denzel Aberdeen Denzel Appleby on the last podcast.
I know. I don't know why I thought it was like Appleton or something, because I knew who Denzel Aberdeen was.
Another brief Kentucky observation. That guy's wasting his talent on that team. He is way better than his 7 points and 3 for 7 shooting. I think he can be a real impact on a real winning team. He was so good for Florida, but I digress. I think Missouri's, their defensive mindset, at least they have one. That was something I thought about going into this game. Like, Kentucky, you can just tell has zero identity, doesn't know what they are or really want to be. Missouri at least kind of does, to me. Like, do they execute it the best all the time? No. Does it sometimes get overplayed and there's sometimes lack of adjustments and changes that need to be made in the course of a game? Sure. And that has gotten them in trouble before, but they do seem to have, a pretty clear identity on both ends of the floor to try and establish. And that is a credit to Dennis Gates. And you saw it work in the final minutes of that game versus Kentucky, where it was all over the place. That last turnover was a simple, like, miscommunication. The guy Williams comes up and the other guy thinks he's going down and they pass it out of bounds. Sometimes it comes down to just knowing what you're doing, and Missouri did at the end there.
Yeah, they feel like a team of mercenaries, Kentucky. That's kind of just the best way to put it. There's no cohesion, it feels like. And that's weird because there's a lot, like, plenty of, like, of course they're mostly made of transfers, but most teams are just filled with transfers nowadays. Yes, Missouri has guys like Mitchell, Ant, Cruz, T.O. Barrett, Pierce, like, more returners probably than Kentucky. I don't know the exact number Kentucky has, but look at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's a team mostly patched together of transfers, and you can tell their identity. You can tell what their team is all about. I 100% agree with you. Kentucky looks like a team that's just trying to rely purely on talent to try and win games right now, rather than actual, like, any sort of identity or rhythm or anything. It's just five guys with no cohesion out there, it feels like, a lot of the time for them.
Yeah, and counter to that, Missouri, it goes back to the thing we said, or at least that I said, that I liked about this team coming into the season. I liked some of the continuity. I figured that has to count for something. It looks like it is, and what it continues to count for, I guess, remains to be seen. But wow, this team is 2-0. I don't think FanDuel puts out odds on teams to start 2-0 in the SEC. I think that's a little too specific, but those would have been pretty long for Mizzou the day after that Illinois game. And now we're talking about kind of a completely different situation as we look ahead, kind of for the rest of SEC play, certainly for the immediate future of this team. Any other takeaways you wanted to add from this game, Payton?
No, I think you kind of hit it right on the head. I would never have guessed that this would be the first Mizzou team to start 2-0 in SEC play and get a win in Rupp, just based off what we saw in non-con. I'd love to know what happened in those 12 days between bragging rights in Florida, because I know they got Stone and Pierce back, and those two have been invaluable to Missouri since they've come back. They've both been monstrous. Like, Pierce, I think, is really showing signs that he's taken a leap. But it's just, this team is, like, doing things that I'm just not used to. They're playing really hard. Like the boards they're not getting brutalized on the boards right now.
No.
They're playing really solid defense for long stretches of a game. I mean, Cruz is like been quiet in the scoring department, like shot wise. I think he's only taken 6 total shots in conference play so far, but he's playing smart basketball. Mitchell and Robinson are having big impacts on the game. Like, it's exactly the recipe.
Mitchell Robinson.
What'd you say?
I said Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell and Robinson.
No, I know you said that. It made me think of Mitchell Robinson.
Oh yeah, the double lord. But if it's the exact recipe I would have guessed would have been successful for Mizzou to come into the year, and it took a long time. But I don't know. Sometimes that you just need a wake up call, like they got against Bragging Rights. It seems like, because I'd pay good money to see a documentary about what went on in those 12 days, because this is a completely different team right now.
The shock and awe, the scheduling award of the year goes to Dennis Gates for not scheduling a December 30th game and just letting him ooze right into conference play. He does not win that award. There needs to be a serious conversation about the non-con, but there also needs to be a serious emphasis on free throws in the gym. I will stand by that. I remain on thin ice with regards to, I still think this team can and potentially will lose a game because of their poor free throw shooting, but they shot it better than Kentucky today.
I was gonna say, if you can believe it, they shot it better than Kentucky.
They did. So there you go. Missouri is 2-0 for the first time ever since they've joined the SEC.
2-0 in SEC play, man.
And that is a team without Kobe Brown. That is a team without Tamar Bates. That's a team with Anthony Robinson, Mark Mitchell, Jaden Stone. And that is a team that will next play who, Payton? Do you know off the top of your head?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss on the road on Saturday, 5 p.m. And we'll recap it for Monday's
opportunity
show.
to get to 3-0.
Yeah, an underperforming Ole Miss
not
team.
Too great this year.
Gotta watch AJ Storr play basketball again, don't I, Payton? Oof.
I don't think that's been a very successful partnership.
Oh, I'm stunned. I've got my this is bad Mizzou focus. I've got my Wisconsin pullover on right now. All right. Speaking of that, I'll have a quick hit related to them. On the other side, where we'll be joined once again by our good pal Kenny Van Doren in just a minute.
And now for something completely different.
All right, we've got the three-headed monster of the unwritten rule all back together for this segment of the show. The transfer carousel. We've managed to get Kenny away from the cycle for a couple of minutes. I'm half expecting big news to break while we're recording this portion of the show. Not
don't say that
in any particular way. Yeah, see, there you go. But for exactly that reason, because you've been a very busy man. We're gonna start though. We have a ton of transfers to talk about who have come into Mizzou, because of course the portal is kind of now underway, and with the timing of our shows, a lot of these guys didn't get confirmed or the deals over the line until really just this last week or this week. But the big story, gents, is actually the guy leaving Mizzou or set to leave Mizzou, not for the NFL draft, but for the transfer portal. He sits at number 6 on On3's transfer portal player rankings. It's Damon Wilson. I think all of us share surprise for this. I think if anything, we thought he might depart for the league and try his luck there, but it looks like he's going into the portal and going to find a new spot elsewhere, which definitely stings both for Mizzou and for the fact that, I guess even though the playoff hasn't shown it, the SEC might be the best conference in this sport, and he could very well end up maybe being on a Mizzou opponent. Who knows where he'll end up? But big news, Kenny. I'll start with your reaction to that as someone who's been tracking all of this stuff over at Mizzou today. What did you make of seeing that news with Damon Wilson entering the portal for the Missouri Tigers?
I was in, I guess, like an hour out of Little Rock, Arkansas when it happened. Pulled over at a gas station, helped Kyle out with that one. It was a surprise. You can blame me if you want. I don't know if you remember this, Peyton. I accidentally said, if Josiah Trotter, Damon Wilson, enter the transfer portal instead of saying going to the draft on one of the recent shows, and you corrected me.
Oh, no
I
one go
might have
clip
jinxed
that.
it there for you, Peyton, and some other people. Yeah, it was just a surprise. You hear that, Mizzou didn't have much contact with him and everything just kind of went sideways and you lose him. I think it stings more than anything. You bring in a guy who was just a really good instant impact, was receiving first round draft buzz during his junior season at Missouri. Felt like everything was trending toward him and just not coming back and going to the draft. It didn't seem like the transfer portal was an option that many were thinking about, but as time dragged on and you have, I think a little bit over a week until I think it's the 14th that you have to announce declarations for the NFL draft if you still have college eligibility. And as things dragged on, it started to be a little bit weirder, what's going to happen here. And then it finally comes out, and there's some big schools just already in that mix, like Miami's up there. There's the Texases of the world, a lot of these just big hitters. And I saw some, Mizzou fans too. It's like, hey, Georgia, can we jump in on that lawsuit now too? Because it just stings that you lose this impact guy, and now you have to go back in the transfer portal and try to replace him, just like I had to replace Johnny Walker the year before.
Was there, I mean, and the answer might be, I don't know. And maybe no one does. I mean, was there any potential thought? Cause I feel like the way we talked on this show, we had assumed if he was going anywhere, it was the draft, but we had assumed that was probably the most likely avenue out. I mean, it doesn't seem like Mizzou was going to end up with him on the team one way or the other. It felt like the draft is really his destiny. It's just maybe more surprising that it isn't that, but he's going somewhere else. But did this come as a total surprise to either of you? I guess that he is, gone from Mizzou's rank specifically, whether, whatever avenue that is what it is. But I didn't feel like we were expecting him to be back in a Mizzou uniform next year, one way or the other. Maybe
yeah. I mean, I'll just let Peyton take it over. I mean, I think if you had a pie chart, I would have said the expectation was like 50% coming back, 45 entering the draft, and then 5, whatever the field was. And I think 5% is even too high. I don't think there was like really any indication or sense that, maybe he would enter the transfer portal, but this just kind of goes into that mindset of nothing should surprise you anymore. I think it was Jamie French, who's a top wide receiver that was at Texas, entered the portal today. And that came as a big surprise to many. I mean, just at this point, I think you shouldn't be surprised. Mizzou's been good on retention, especially some top players. What was last week when we talked? Marvin Burks leaving was probably the biggest, starting contributor that's left, in the transfer portal since Dominic Lovett and Jack Stonehouse. And now the biggest one is Damon Wilson, and I don't think anyone else is going to get necessarily close at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kenny. It did start to feel like, because Drinkwitz had talked about like Wilson, Trotter, and Green were kind of waiting for their feedback. We heard Green was coming back right away. Heard Trotter was going to the draft pretty quickly. It did feel like the longer it went on, it felt like Damon Wilson probably wasn't happy with the feedback he probably got. I definitely didn't expect him to hit the portal. It definitely is the most shocking one since Lovett for me. Missouri, like,
and Stonehouse.
Burks was also a little surprising, if that's what you're referencing, but this is still a step above Burks. And Burks, I don't know, with just based on, we'll get to that later in the show. With what happened with him, it almost feels like maybe it was a mutual thing. Like it just was, that was a weird one, but Wilson stings, no doubt about it. Certainly an excellent player for Missouri. If you had asked me last year, I would have also assumed it was a one-year thing. I'm sure Missouri came into this relationship thinking it would be a one-year thing. It somehow the opportunity kind of blossomed into seeing a chance for it to be multiple years, but it's not to be. It isn't the end of the world, I don't think. But no, Damon Wilson definitely took a big leap forward with Zion Young having a just as good edge rusher kind of on the other side of him to take some attention. There's no way to spin it. I mean, it's a tough loss. Missouri's going to have to really hit the portal hard for that. They do have some big names coming in, so that's certainly encouraging. I mean, some guys you even look at Zion Young and Damon Wilson's stats before they came to Missouri. You certainly can see the opportunity for growth from whoever they get. But the odds they get another Damon Wilson certainly aren't fantastic.
I don't think Florida State was listed among those early schools for Damon Wilson, but the Florida State site did reach out, just asking if I had any contact information for Damon Wilson. And I put that on the board, just saying, maybe Florida State will just be a school that pops up at some point. And someone did point out, say, LOL, guess winning isn't high on his priorities. I replied, well, I mean, he did leave the SEC champs to go to Missouri, so
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors that play into it. Might be a little bit higher than winning.
Yeah, a good point. It's a good point. So definitely a big time loss for Missouri, a surprising one in Damon Wilson. But again, yeah, it's sort of, I feel like I just don't stand on too much ceremony with it because this is just the nature of the beast these days. It's tough. You have to sort of root for the team more than some of the players because you never know how long you might have these guys on your team, or enjoy the players for as long as you can. That's what I tried to do with Josiah Trotter, at least. But so he's out. Let's talk about some guys who are coming in, Kenny. And it's a long list. I will read the names because, frankly, a lot of these, like I said at the top, have kind of materialized in the days since our last show. So if anyone has been living under a rock or not following Mizzou today and their transfer tracker and all of the stories, here's everyone who's Mizzou has gotten so far in the portal. And Kenny, interrupt me if I'm missing a name. Austin Simmons, quarterback from Ole Miss. Zayshawn Edwards, a running back from Houston Christian. Couple wide receivers, Horatio Fields from Auburn. Caleb Goody from Cincinnati. Couple of offensive linemen, Josiah Atkins from Arizona State. And Luke Work.
Josh Atkins.
What did I say?
Josiah.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I said that. Luke Work from Mississippi State, an offensive tackle. Robert Woodyard Jr. from Auburn, a linebacker. Jaleel Florence from Oregon, a corner, and 2 DBs. Another from Auburn. That's 3 if you're keeping track. Kinsley, is it Louis-Dor Faustin, I believe is how you say his name. And Jadon Blair from Notre Dame.
Louis-Dor Faustin.
Louis-Dor Faustin.
Auburn is good about this. If you go on their profiles on their roster, for some of the names that might be harder to pronounce, they have a pronunciation guide in a video or an audio clip that you can play to, like where the player actually says it.
That's shout out Auburn for doing that. As a person who hates butchering names, I'm sorry, Kinsley, and I will learn it by the season. An interesting cast. Obviously, Simmons is the headliner. I don't think we need to talk too much more about him. We could probably save some good off-season content to really do a deep dive on what he brings. We talked mostly about him. You guys did in the New Year's episode. I think we did in another episode before it was official, but now it is. The big one for me here, Kenny, and feel free to take this whatever other direction you want in addition to this, is at the linebacker position in Robert Woodyard Jr. This is a guy I remember talking about when we did our Auburn preview. I think he's in the top 50 on On3's transfer board, just in terms of talent. 67 tackles, 2 sacks. The PFF stat that stood out to me, 87.6 run defending. Sounds like a certain Josiah that I know. Maybe that's why I said Josiah instead of Josh. I've just got Josiah Trotter on my mind. Feels like a major addition to try and fill a major hole left by Josiah Trotter in Mr. Woodyard, and obviously SEC experience there as well at Auburn.
Yeah, all SEC linebacker at Auburn as well. 1 year experience or 1 year of eligibility coming in. Probably going into the transfer portal, you were hoping that Josiah Trotter would come back, in those days after the Gator Bowl, and he didn't get to play that one too because of an injury. And they probably wanted to hold him out too, just in case, not to prevent anything to get worse if he was going to go to the NFL draft. But Woodyard played against Missouri, and it was his best game of the entire season. He had 11 total tackles, 9 solo, 2 assisted. Tackles for loss aren't listed on ESPN, but I think he did have a couple of those.
He had 4 tackles for loss.
Yeah, 4 tackles for loss. Overall, I mean, Missouri probably saw it then. It's like, hey, if Josiah doesn't come back and this guy's in the portal, let's go get him. I think Derek Nicholson and Mari Bland did a good job of getting Robert Woodyard into the fold. And now you have one of the best linebacker duos again in the SEC next year, with Nick Rodriguez re-signed as well, coming in for his junior season. So that linebacker room looks good. It looks pretty deep too. Again, there's going to be some experienced guys right behind them that you'll be seeing, and a lot of them have already started to re-sign, if not re-signed already. So I do like the state of the linebacker room.
Yeah, it's an excellent addition, I think. Payton, who's your favorite transfer not named Robert Woodyard on this list?
I'll go with here's a couple that stand out. I really like Goody. He's a Blazer, it seems like. I think I saw something like he was the top 4 fastest players like in the nation last year. So that certainly would pair well with Simmons, who's kind of touted for having a gigantic arm. Florence is intriguing as well. Kind of fell out of the rotation at Oregon, but was a one-time starter who I believe was pretty highly touted there in his time starting.
Top 60 in his high school class, entire nation.
So that's certainly interesting, but I'm gonna go with Atkins, the most recent commit, Josh Atkins. I really would have loved to have seen. There was a lot of buzz about Andrew Sprague. I would have loved to have seen that one happen, but Sprague went back to Michigan. So what can you do? Atkins, I mean, he started 39 games in a row. He's now, assuming, I mean, he played left tackle at Arizona State. I'd assume he'd move over to right tackle, which is now your quarterback's blind side. Having a really experienced guy like that, that protects your quarterback's blind side, is, I think, a big plus. Missouri's done a good job of kind of getting some plug and play tackles the last 2 years. Bryant wound up being a draft pick. Trost was excellent this year. He might be a draft pick. We'll see. Atkins kind of feels like he could be in that similar vein.
Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong. Does he have the Brandon Jones Houston tie-in? Because I believe he started there and then went to Hawaii before he ended up at Arizona State.
Yeah, Brandon Jones recruited him to Houston. He never played in those 2 seasons with the Cougars. And like you said, transferred to Hawaii. He started 39 games in a row for Arizona State. So he's been, a staple. Or sorry, not 39 between 2 seasons at Arizona State and 1 at Hawaii. But he's been a consistent guy. He's been healthy. He has 1 more year of eligibility. And now, Payton and I were talking about this before the show came on. You told us, save it for now, Jack. Not a lot of people were probably pretty high on Keegan Trost coming in from Wake Forest. He was an All-American. I mean, I'm not going to put that on Josh Atkins to reach that status, but Brandon Jones has done well going after and getting experienced offensive tackles. So this is someone he knows well from recruiting kids in Texas and getting him to go to Houston. I think this is a big get. And you look at it, there's 5 offensive linemen now on the roster that will be eligible only through this next season. Probably going to be the 5 that you're looking at just right now, unless they add another interior option, because I don't think there's any indication that you're going to see. Sorry, man, the Hayes Fawcett tweet goes up. I just get scared.
His antenna is just...
Yeah, the only person. I only have a couple people with post notice. He's one of them. So that I think that's the case on that is that you might have full offensive line of seniors or just guys with that last season of eligibility, unless there's another interior guy. I mean, I actually intrigued Payton. I know we've talked about it. Is it going to be Dominic Jedice at center or Tristan Wilson? But because you kind of saw it fluctuate at times, and Tristan Wilson was that 6th offensive lineman. And they said, there's no indication that Caden Green would move back to the guard position right now. But I think you're looking at left tackle, Caden Green. It depends. Tristan Wilson and Dominic Jedice, swap them at left guard and center. Curtis Piegler at right guard. And then Josh Atkins at right tackles. I think what you're looking at right now, we're recording here at 1:24 p.m. I'll give you that timestamp in case anything happens.
Notable. I think that's a really important get for them. You mentioned the blindside stuff with the kind of more pressing need to have a right tackle now. He feels like a nice add. Experience. He's clearly waited his turn. I mean, you talk about that with some guys who've been through the Mizzou ranks who have waited a while and then got their opportunity and kind of shined. I think you make a good point too with the edge room going all the way back to that, Kenny, with the likes of Zion Young and some of the impact transfers that are given time to develop. Maybe you get more of that development of guy. I don't know. But I like the addition of Atkins in the offensive line. I like the addition, Payton of Goody at wide receiver. I think you kind of, needed to get that speedster. They got Horatio Fields as well. Do either of you, is there another wide receiver that needs to come in for you guys to maybe complete that trope when then you factor in the guys that are coming back?
Maybe not a starter. Maybe a guy
Is
that could
Fields
be
a
in that
starter?
rotation. Fields?
Yes. How high does he get? Because I think
Right now, yeah, he's a starter. I think at the current state of the wide receiver room, you're looking at Caleb Goody, Donovan Olubade, and Horatio Fields.
Okay.
I think you probably need one more guy that has experience like that could be in that room, and maybe not necessarily an SEC guy again or Big 12. Goody had a good quarterback throwing to him in Brandon Sorsby, who at one point was probably seen as 1A, 1B transfer quarterback, and I don't know who else they would try to add. Corey Thomas was one that popped up. Doesn't look like he's going to end up visiting Mizzou at all. Old Dominion wide receiver. So we'll see if another guy pops up here soon as another wide receiver option.
Yeah, and then taking another swing on a Power 5 corner too in Florence, I think is exciting. I mean, we saw it eventually kind of pay off for Toriano Pride. That's a position that's going to be much needed. And then you lose Burks. You already brought in two safeties. I did ask our good friend Jack Sobel for a statement on Blair. I have not received one, so if I receive one before the end of the show, I'll cut in with.
That's because he's put it in two other spots where you can see it.
I didn't.
He's put in more than two, Payton. I think that's fair to say too. He's put it in like stories. He's put it on the board. He's put it in two group chats you're in as well. I think it was the same exact message. He just copied and pasted it. 6'5", lanky, good ball skills. He's written about it too. I linked it on in this story as well. Let's find the quote. The most impressive player in one-on-ones was true freshman safety Jadon Blair. Jack Sobel wrote in August. The two reps we saw from him were an interception and a pass breakup, respectively. The former generated a loud cheer from his teammates. Blair trailed horizontal route, but just managed to undercut it and corral the ball with his ridiculously long arms. So very talented player. Derek Nicholson, linebackers coach, played a part in this. I think we talked about that on Sunday. I mentioned, or on Monday's show, they did not go to high school at the same time, but they went to the same high school. I just want to preface that so no one thinks
him and Derek Nicholson.
Yeah,
I would hope not.
But he's got 4 years of eligibility remaining. He played at Notre Dame. He's just a ridiculous athlete. It's just trying to find him a spot on the field now in that secondary.
Yeah, I like that. Upside bet with him. Payton, final thoughts from you moving forward now. You mentioned, and Kenny can elaborate, I'm sure, on it, that there are some big time names, it seems like, that are going to keep coming in. Feels like Missouri, it seems to me, a pretty solid start. I think they were 55th in the On3 transfer team rankings. I tend not to look at those, but feels like a solid start here for Mizzou in terms of the guys they brought in so far.
Yeah, they need a lot more still. I still think you need several corners. I think you need
look at that. Look at who they're ahead of, Payton. Who might they happen to be ahead of, real quick?
Oh, they might happen to be in front of former Cotton Bowl Classic foe, Ohio State. That said, I still think they need to get plenty of secondary help. I would still like to see another safety, maybe another corner or two. I think they should not be done at O-line. Like Kenny mentioned, I'd love to see another receiver. They need like 5 D linemen, whether it be edge or D tackle. So, I mean, they've done a good job so far plugging some holes, but I certainly think that more work needs to be done.
I like Luke Work on the offensive line, Payton. I think that's a good pickup for some depth, maybe a swing tackle, somebody Javen Richardson, or he could be your Tristan Wilson this year as well. It's just a guy who plugs in when you need another offensive lineman or someone goes down. Very good versatility. He's played 4 of the 5 positions, excluding center. His pass protection went up a lot, albeit sample size dropped down. He has starting experience in his freshman year. It just did not work out in that first year at Mississippi State. But I think it is a good spot to bring him in. He could have up to 3 years of eligibility if he redshirts this next year, but he does have 2 right now, and I think he's a good depth piece at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like Payton has always said, you can never add too many offensive linemen. I completely agree with the defensive lineman requirements. I'd like to see another wide receiver and another corner for sure. I think corner remains the most pressing need for this team in the portal, and then you can now throw kind of the edge room in there with Damon Wilson gone, but you're not going to replace him. You're going to have to replace him in the aggregate. I don't think you're going to get a like for like there unless someone maybe breaks out. But big wins with Simmons and Woodyard. I think those are two major additions. You got the quarterback and then a guy who can maybe be the quarterback of your defense. So I liked both of those a lot. There's a portal update. Got plenty more, I'm sure, to come. No breaking, no, only one Hayes Fawcett notification. We should keep a counter. How many Hayes Fawcett notifications do we get during January when we record these episodes?
It ended up not being Hayes Fawcett. It ended up being a running back following the Mizzou Today account.
Oh. Who might that be? Breaking news? Blank
I think
has
he's a
followed.
running back. Should we just talk about it? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't know what it is.
Let me
Who
look
is
him
it?
up real quick. I don't know who he is, but he followed, and
What's
Mizzou
his
Football
name?
follows him on Twitter.
Give us the name.
Can
Seth
we get
Davis.
the name? Seth Davis.
Seth Davis,
Yeah.
the
Running back from Mississippi State. He was a redshirt sophomore this past year. He went to Katy High School. Following the
Look at that.
2024 season, has 356 yards on 59
Another
carries.
running back would certainly be interesting.
Well, he had 59 carries for 356 yards and a touchdown in 2023. Last year, 5 carries, 47 yards and a touchdown.
Mizzou
So
Football
he
follows him.
Must have
I
been
don't know if
dealing
that's
with
a
some
big
injuries.
deal.
All right. There you go. A little bit of breaking update. It's not really news, but Intel buzz. Payton, help me out here. Sources. What other words does Kenny love in this time of year?
Inbox.
Blue
Inbox.
chip.
Blue chip.
You won't believe what I
Yeah.
just heard.
Former 4-star.
Missouri
Officially
remains,
official. That one. Oh, that one rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why.
Confirmed.
Missouri
I
remains
confirm's
in,
okay. I think confirm's okay.
Missouri
I think it is
remains in
confirmed.
all caps red hot in on transfer portal or on
Eye emojis.
noticing. I use a lot of noticing. All right.
Appearing. That's one of my ones too. I just pet peeve. Don't say appearing.
Trending.
How does appearing get used?
Someone will quote tweet or like post a screenshot from Instagram and it says it appears so and so is visiting. No, he is. He posted a photo on his Instagram story of him at a place.
4 words total.
Yeah, you do really kind of wean down our options here.
You don't have to say appears. You can just say here or X player is here.
We'd all be talking in 3-word sentences if Kenny.
That's
had
what we
his
should
way.
be doing.
Yeah.
Less word do trick.
Why use more word when less word do
Journalist,
trick?
by the way. This is a guy who writes for a living.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be optimized, an optimized writer. You're not supposed to
He
use
just
as
used
many words.
optimized on you, bro.
Word of the day calendar.
Optimized
Did I
is not
say
a
that?
word of the day
I must have
calendar.
said
That would be
that
the
in
worst.
episode
No.
recently.
That would be the worst word of the day calendar ever if optimized was on there.
I must have used optimization in an episode recently.
Right. He's been listening. All right. There's a chaotic end to the transfer segment. We will take a break. We started the show with basketball. Kenny, do you want to throw a quick Kentucky game take out there? I know you didn't watch too much of it, but impressive win.
I did watch the whole thing. I just couldn't really pay too much attention. I was just, there was a commitment during it, and there was commitment before. I just had a lot to
that's
do.
for
And
them.
there's, I have a checklist of things I have to post. I did watch the entire game. I just jumped on.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not the
There-
guy to
there's
your
someone
right
else
is-
next to
yeah,
me
I
that's
think
laughing right
really
now.
funny because he was like, I haven't been watching.
I watched the game. I just think I didn't pay enough attention to have, a good enough take on it. I mean, it was a great game. I thought it was very entertaining.
Mizzou's 2-0.
Yeah.
Rupp was quiet. All right, we'll kick it to a quick break. We will come back in just a moment.
Record without me. Haven't been able to watch much. Was your phrasing?
Oh wow, he's pulling out texts from the planet.
You want me to show you my setup and how I was watching the game? Like right here, there's a TV. And I was watching it, but I was typing away. I was barely watching it. I could hear it. Watch the entire game. It was right there. My
Kenny, I
eyes weren't
just like to
fixated on
rile
the
you up
screen the
because
entire
it
game.
works.
What?
I like to rile you up because it works.
Yeah, because it does work. It does. Yes, I know. Let's just go. Come on.
I like
What's
your
next?
shirt.
Quick hits? Yeah, it's the Jeff Fisher. Thanks.
Yeah, I like that. Okay,
All right.
quick hits time.
I don't like that. I don't like that he did that. I don't like that he did that one bit. Kenny, share your jersey of the week, I guess.
I got three. I'm not going to put one of them on the screen, but I'll just throw it out real quick. Javen Richardson committed to Colorado here on Thursday, so he will be going to the Big 12. Seemed like that was going to be the best fit. There were some other schools like Baylor was one that popped up. But yes, a duo. They're roommates now. Johnny Williams IV and Henry Finucane. I don't know if they'll be roommates, but they're both going to North Texas. I thought this was pretty fun.
The North Texas Tigers.
That is fun. I mean, Williams, I think, also would have gone there under Neil Brown, who is now gone to West Virginia under Neil Brown, who is now the head coach at UNT. So logical fit there. Also, that's how many old linemen did Mizzou lose? I mean, they lost Finucane, they lost Williams, they lost Early, they lost Jones. That's a lot of old linemen. They need more than 2 out of the portal.
They signed 5 too.
Yeah,
that's true. You got to remember the freshmen.
Transfer portal segment was last segment, buddy. Get to your quick hits. What's your jersey of the week?
Good luck to Henry Finucane in particular.
Yes, indeed.
My jersey of the week is going to be former Missouri quarterback J.R. Blood, who is now on Kirby Moore's staff at Washington State. He was announced as Kirby Moore's director of recruiting strategy. So good for J.R. Blood.
That's exciting. The Wazoo Tigers. Got the Mizzou Tigers and the Wazoo Tigers.
He was on Missouri staff this past season too.
No, but they've got J.R. Blood. They've got Kirby Moore.
Well, yeah, they just hired him a Missouri assistant as their head coach.
Several others.
Yeah. Jake Morgan was at Missouri in some capacity as well. He's going to be director of scouting. Ella Guerrero was at Missouri. She's director of recruiting operations. And then Daniel Platts, I knew a little bit about more than the other ones, is going to be director of player personnel. He was a GA in the player personnel department at Missouri.
There you go. The Wazoo Tigers. The hive follows. My jersey of the week, going back to the transfers out, is Marvin Burks. We talked about this. This was, a bummer of a portal entry to see. I was kind of penciling him in as the starting safety. However, Marvin Burks ended up at Wisconsin, so he will spend his next season in Madison. I won't hide it. I'm a little selfishly excited about this one. I grew up a Wisconsin fan. I still like the Badgers. I'm excited that I can still root a little bit for Marvin Burks at his new team. So I was excited. I was admittedly probably more excited to see this than Mizzou fans were, but it is a bummer that he is leaving. Don't get me wrong, but
I'll tell you guys real quick. I'm going to jump in here. Seth Davis is visiting the 10th and the 11th. He just DM'd me.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Inbox. Yeah. Marvin Burks.
Inbox.
You will enjoy. Madison.
Don't worry, Kenny. We'll try and buy time for you while you post that to your board. Marvin Burks, I mean, very interesting. He was up and down. I mean, there was so much excitement for him when he committed. He committed to Ole Miss initially. They flipped him back. 4-star recruit. Stuck with it for 3 years. You think like Missouri gets a 4-star out of high school and he's there 3 years. It probably turned out really well, but up and down play, kind of a strange transfer in my opinion. Like he didn't go to a blue blood or anything. I mean, he just kind of made a more lateral move. No offense, Jack, but that's kind of what this is at this moment in time. I mean, good for him finding a job, like a spot where he's definitely going to be having a starting job in the Power 2, but just it's just an interesting move, in my opinion, if he was still going to be the starter this year.
I never thought I would deal with little to any, kind of for that reason, Payton, of like the lateralness going from Missouri to Wisconsin. I never thought I'd deal with that really at all. And now you've had Marvin Burks and John Tanjay. So it's 2.
And Robin Pinchton.
Good point. So there you go. I don't know. I'm excited. The Badgers have like the 8th ranked transfer class right now. So there's some hype building, some hype that will probably be smushed very fast.
Here, keep it going. Name all the guys that went to Cardinal Ritter that played at Missouri under Drinkwitz. There's a new one right now too.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Jamal Roberts went to St. Mary's, didn't he? Okay.
Marvin Burks.
Kevin Coleman went to St. Mary's, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know. This is only a quiz that you would know, man.
Brady Cook went to not.
I put it in 2 stories, and I've tweeted it out recently.
Yeah, I didn't see that, man. I'm sorry. Oh man, I do not know. On the team right now,
There we go.
There's going to be one next year. He committed recently.
Lang did not go to one of these.
Keep
I
stalling.
don't know.
Payton. Keep
You're gonna have
stalling.
to tell me. I really
stalling.
don't know.
I'm scrolling. When did you tweet this?
Okay, the recent one is Jacquez Felix, who we didn't even talk about, class of 2026 defensive lineman who committed to Missouri on Monday
All right.
from St. Louis.
Exciting.
Is that the only one?
Yeah, that's the only current one. Marvin Burks was the other. Joe Moore, transfer from Arizona State, went to Cardinal Ritter. And then Luther Burden didn't finish his career at Cardinal Ritter, but
I was gonna
did
say
play
he was
there.
definitely not there by the end, but
He was there his junior year.
interesting.
connections? Marvin Burks is a Wisconsin Badger. There's your
I
news.
like no capping. He's the main bird.
Sean East, main bird of the week. Kenny.
My Shawnee's main bird of the week goes to James Madison, the second, Perez. He committed and signed with UTSA. It was the only school. I didn't see any other schools linked to him. Pretty quiet transfer recruitment, but he's going to go down a level and probably going to see some decent run, with the Road Runners team, no pun intended. That's been, pretty up and down, but, has had some good years under Jeff Traylor at UTSA.
Good for Prez. I mean, his commitment video was so cool, and he was like a big time cheerleader in that recruiting class. I'm sad it didn't work out here, but I hope he does blossom down on the G5 level.
Yeah, I hope this turns out well for him, and he can. UTSA feels like a spot if he can have a season or two that's good there. Transfer back up to the Power 5 level would be great to see. Nothing but good vibes from James Madison. So see how it goes for him. Payton, who's your bird?
My main bird of the week is going to be the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are in the AP Top 25 poll. Mostly because Iowa then lost to Minnesota on Tuesday, which is awesome for Mizzou because the Minnesota win is actually looking a bit better. They're starting to get close to quad 2 rank, or no, because they'd have to be top 50, wouldn't they, to be a quad 2?
Correct, at home.
Okay, so they still have a ways to go, but Minnesota 3-1 in Big Ten play, some big wins. They got a win over Indiana as well. So yeah, quality resume builder there. Also, it means Ben McCollum lost and Bennett Sturts lost. And you know what? I'm going to celebrate that too. Also, Florida was dropped from the rankings, but they immediately rebounded and blitzed a top 20 Georgia team. So a couple notable things there in the poll for Mizzou.
Yeah, it's been I know Kenny, you've been locked in to a lot of transfer stuff, but Peyton, it's been a crazy couple of days in college basketball outside of Missouri starting out 2-0. It's just been
other basketball is being played, believe it or not.
There's been some chaos. Got a couple undefeated still. Iowa State, Michigan, Arizona, Vandy, I think is all
Vandy beating Alabama.
Beat Alabama.
Have they beat any good teams now, Nate Oates?
Yeah, he Nate Oates. He got a T in that game too.
Hothead.
I knew Peyton would enjoy that. I was thinking about this. I think Vandy and Iowa State, of all teams, are competing for the best basketball school in terms of men's and women's. I think Vandy are in the top 10 in both, and Iowa State, it's like top 15 for both. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, Iowa State women's, I believe, have lost 2 in a row, though.
Oh.
So Vandy takes the
Trouble
lead,
names.
I believe.
Yeah, Vandy number 7. I say that in part because Mizzou has to play them next. That is actually Thursday night when we're recording this. So good luck, Mizzou. We'll talk about it on Sunday. It's a tough start to SEC life for him. My main bird of the week, I'm giving it to Marquise Davis, another confirmed transfer out who has a new home. He's going to Louisville. Bird connection. They're the Cardinals. It feels like a good spot for Marquise Davis to end up, kind of flash some talent. Of course, at Mizzou was another sort of bummer to lose him in that running back room, but we talked about it. The depth and having the talent ahead of him that you do is going to trigger things like that. So I'm excited for him at Louisville. I feel like this is a good spot for him. I don't know if you two disagree. Maybe not. Payton doesn't look like he agrees. No,
he's going to be the third running back there. Isaac Brown didn't wind up transferring, and Keywan Brown hasn't transferred. Those are two guys that had 700 plus yards. I can't imagine Davis comes in and leaps either of them. So another weird one. He's closer to home, but just interesting.
I did not think about that. I totally didn't look up who Louisville lost. That is a little strange because I saw like tweets that Kentucky was linked for him too, which felt like it would have made more sense. So
yeah, I mean Keywan Brown, he was a sophomore this past year, 96 carries, 704 yards, and he wasn't even there. I mean Isaac Brown was the man on that team.
Yeah, interesting. Well, there you go. He stays a depth piece, I guess, but. You're right closer to home.
Anyways, let's talk about another transfer. Man,
what'd you learn this week, Peyton?
Best thing I learned, or really just most interesting thing I learned, is that Damon Williams Jr., Washington's quarterback, has kind of kickstarted a bit of a situation worth watching. So he signed a deal. This is Washington's starting quarterback. He signed a deal to stay with Washington. It got announced and everything. And then a few days later, he just randomly drops that he's actually going to transfer. His agency that helped him get the deal at Washington dropped him over this because of what they called philosophical differences. Washington, as far as everyone has said, has absolutely no intentions of letting him out of it, and they're going to do everything they can to keep him there. This is going to be messy. If you thought the Damon Wilson thing was going to be worth paying attention to, this is now really proving how hard can these contracts be enforced. So Damon Williams, I mean, if he wins out here, I mean, we'll see where he ends up, but certainly going to be a very, very messy situation in the meantime.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He has a legitimate agency. I'm not saying some agents aren't big, but it's a big time agency. This is Wasserman. I'm pretty sure that's who reps him. That's top 5, if I'm not mistaken. They do pro sports, they do baseball, football, do everything. And I mean, they know this more than probably a lot of people. And I think I saw it too, Peyton, is I think Washington still wants him, right? Isn't that the case?
Yeah, I mean, they don't want him to leave.
Yeah. And they've hosted guys too, because I mean they still have to prepare that that he can get out of this and go play at LSU.
Yeah, Bo Pribula was one.
Right? Yeah, so that's they're going to try to have other guys come in because if you lose, Williams, and you're going to be in a spot a pretty bad spot because a lot of quarterbacks have already come off the board. Some big time ones too. And if you're a school in the Big Ten, it's been relatively competitive at times in Washington. I mean, you're screwed. I think that's a pretty easy way to say it is if this doesn't go your way.
Yeah, that's an important piece of this is it's sort of a game of chicken, right? Where at a certain point, the school and the player, it's which one kind of folds first, where the player says, well, fine, I don't have anywhere to go anymore because all these other quarterbacks have gone somewhere. I guess I have to stay, and vice versa. If the school is really worried about losing this kid, do they say, all right, fine, we'll break the contract, go because we need to bring someone else in then? It's a little bit of a game of chicken in that sense. Oh, sorry, I thought I had breaking news. I almost got my Blair statement that I'm still going to read shamelessly, even though it's been posted other places. Yeah, this will be really interesting to watch. And is LSU, is that the place, Kenny, that has come out? That's where he wants to go. If he,
oh, sorry, did I say something wrong? I mean, I think it's LSU, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't seen that. I didn't look at
I believe LSU was one that I've seen linked to him.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were just using that as an example or if that's
I thought I read that was a school interested.
Oh, it might be. I didn't read about the interested schools, but I've just seen I saw the thing about the agent, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. And yeah, the Damon Wilson thing ties into this. Oh yeah, LSU is the presumptive favorite to land Williams if he leaves. It's right there. Yeah, we'll see what unfolds, I guess, and who kind of wins out, because that is why you need guardrails, folks. We've been saying it for years. Kenny, what did you learn?
Best thing I learned this week, Josh Manning going to Kansas State. I feel like this was the thing that a lot of people probably assumed would happen after he entered the transfer portal. Kansas State was, I guess, number 2 in his recruitment out of high school. It looked like for a long time he was going to go there, follow Avery Johnson, and now he's probably going to catch passes for Avery Johnson this year if all things go well. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining, gets to stay in the area. He did visit South Carolina, but he's going to move to the Big 12.
Very funny when you look back, like, because Drinkwitz had that video at the restaurant or whatever it was when Manning committed. The like Avery Johnson tweets about it. That was a funny time to look back on recruiting. But no, I mean, Josh Manning, I mean, it was 3 years here, then to Kansas State. Kind of not a super big shock that he wound up at Kansas State when he left. Certainly wish he had stayed, in my opinion. I thought he was solid. I thought they needed to at least keep some continuity in the room, besides just Olubide being the only guy that started for them. But good luck to him.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I wish he would have stayed, but I wish him the best of luck, because I think that guy, when used in the right system, can really help a team out in the ways that he helped Mizzou out that we saw. So yeah, hopefully he finds some success there. My best thing I learned this week, and I thought my schedule was gonna end up. No. We're not doing this. They're not doing this. You two are staying right here. I don't even know how to do it. See, now I'm gonna break the thing. Now I lost the shared screen. There we go. I thought for a minute actually that we were gonna have to stop doing that. That we were gonna have to, that you two were gonna have to actually do quick hits solo, and that would have made this even funnier. I got NBA news. My best thing I learned this week, guys. Trae Young got traded. He's a Washington Wizard now, so it's a big deal. Went to a conference finals with the Hawks, but kind of ran its course there. They're going in another direction. He was traded for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Big time stuff going on in the association. So Trae Young is a Wizard, which is really interesting. We'll see what the Wizards. There's like some talk that they like their young pieces. They like how they can fit them around Trae Young. We'll see if they do that. You guys have any thoughts? Come on.
This trade sucks. Neither of these teams are any good, and neither of them are going to be good because of this. Like, what is the point of this move?
It feels like both guys wanted out, so they said, "Okay, we'll make your life worse and send you to a place that's the exact same." Is that a good way to say it?
They wanted the Wizards.
No, yeah, Trae Young picked Washington.
Yeah, why?
I can get into why. I don't think you guys care to hear it, but
I kind of do want to know why, because it's weird.
There is kind of, I think, thinking from both sides that the Wizards actually do have some pretty good pieces. After they started the year really bad, and I think
26.
So here's the thing: I think they've won 9 of their last 10 games, and what people are thinking is that the brass is saying we can get this guy and speed it up a little bit, but Trae Young won't be the last piece. The Wizards still have a bunch of cap room. They have good young players, and I think they can add another max contract guy with the group that they now have.
They are not 9-1 in their last 10. They're 5-5.
Oh, well, maybe it was some stat I saw.
14th in the East.
I don't know, man.
Doesn't make any sense. This sucks.
I'm not the GM. I'm regurgitating what I read about it. They have a lot of cap space. I think they're thinking they really like the young guys that they have. They like how Trae Young fits with that. If they can get another max level star, they can maybe be something. I think that's where their logic is. The Hawks, I like this for them. They needed to get off his money. They have really, really good young players. Jalen Johnson's going to be an all-star this year. They're just going in a different direction.
Man, I didn't realize the Pacers were 6-31.
They're tanking.
What?
They've lost 13 games in
Guys,
a row.
this is sad.
Oh my gosh.
They're tanking. Everybody's injured.
Hornets are terrible, dog.
Hornets are fun. The Hornets are fun bad. The Pacers are just bad. But they're gonna have
I love 13-24 in year 80 of a rebuild. That's really fun bad.
You haven't watched enough Con Knipple.
Con Knipple's good. No one else on that team's any good.
That may be true, but at least he's good. It's more than they have been. It's more than they've been able to say for the past 15 years.
What's going on in this ad?
I noticed that.
It's just like a sheep getting stuck in a ditch.
No, he's getting out of
seen that
he's
video?
getting out of the ditch and then jumping back into the ditch. That's the whole.
And
Oh,
the
it's
guy
not even an
Trae
ad.
Young forcing his way from the Hawks to the Wizards.
Because at the beginning of the clip, he gets out of the ditch, then he runs
Yeah.
and jumps back into the ditch.
Yeah.
That's that.
You've never
I've seen this with
video?
goats before where they just like get in fire and they pull them out of the fire and they just want to get right back in.
See,
Yeah, they do that apparently because there's like bugs and parasites on them, and they
gets
want
him out of there, and then wow.
There's probably safer ways for the goats to do that.
I don't really get it either, but I think that's what the Wizards are thinking. That's what the experts are saying. So that's what I regurgitated from the experts. I don't know. I'm not going to
Dude.
sit here and say I love this for the Wizards or Trae Young.
What's going on with the Bucks, Jack? Let's
They,
just make this the NBA segment for the year.
they stink.
It's our NBA preview.
They stink,
Yeah.
but they might have the most improved player.
Preview.
We'll talk
The Rockets have 5 small forwards who all start.
They sure do. And Reed Shepherd, who's a dog.
They're not that good though. They're a 6 seed.
It's the West.
They'd have to play the Nuggets right now.
The Nuggets don't have Jokic.
They'll have them in June.
Yeah, but will he be the same? I don't know. People are asking. All right, let's do best beats of the week. Brought to you by FanDuel. We're into the playoffs, guys. We might have to have some special playoff picks or something for the playoff NFL shows. But for now, we'll keep it with the wild card weekend spreads. Payton, I noticed you haven't put a bet. Are you keeping us all in suspense?
Yeah, because I'm taking Packers -1.5 over the Bears. I think the Bears defense has been thoroughly figured out. Just don't make the dumbest throws you've ever seen in your life, and you will keep the ball away from the Bears for an entire half. The Bears had 3 offensive possessions in the first half this past week. I think that is going to happen again in this game.
Oh, wow. Not optimistic. Not optimistic.
He's hedging. That's just what he's doing.
He is emotionally hedging. That's true.
Can't believe I finally missed a bet.
Yeah, you
the
took a loss
49ers.
last week. 2 out of 3 of us lost, by the way. Peyton had 49ers -1.5. Kenny's Texans did not cover the 10.5 point spread.
He has just flipped the wrong side of the coin the last 4 weeks.
Yeah. I got mine right. Panthers +3. Going to the playoffs, baby. Thank you to the Falcons for winning.
Got Panthers +3 and they lost. That's
Yep.
fun too. I'm going to take Texans -3. Like Peyton mentioned, I keep flipping the wrong way. So let's flip the same way as last week and not keep this streak of taking the other team. This is the first time ever in the wild card round that the Texans aren't playing on the Saturday game or just the day game. They're playing Monday night, which is pretty neat. So they're playing
There
against the
you go.
Steelers. This is also the first time, I don't know if you know this, Peyton, that the Texans have made the playoffs not
As a wild
as the as the AFC South champ. So pretty neat as well. So taking on the Steelers, I'm going to take the Texans in this one. The magic will run out for the Steelers.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's magic. I just
No.
Yeah, it's
No.
just it's just
Doesn't
bound to
matter,
happen.
Kenny. Wild card champions, Kenny.
I think the Texans will be fine, Kenny. I think you'll be okay. Breaking news. I have the Blair statement. You guys want to hear it?
Yeah, we already went through this, didn't we?
Jadon Blair is 6'5" with crazy long arms, very good athleticism and better ball skills. He's a bit of a unicorn, physically speaking. While one would think Mizzou believes he'll see the field in 2026, he should be considered a multi-year project as far as reaching his full potential is concerned. Blair did not play as a true freshman at Notre Dame, and there were questions regarding whether he had the physicality to thrive at safety long term. He was also part of an extremely stacked position group, which is why he left. I would consider Blair a solid upside swing for Mizzou and someone you hope sticks around and develops over the next 4 years. That's from Jack Sobel, our good friend over at Notre Dame on 3. Thank you for that very original message.
He did play at Notre Dame. I don't know why people keep saying he didn't. He played against
Played
Syracuse.
one game.
That's playing. That is.
That's playing.
No one can tell him he was not a college football player if he never plays again. He played college football.
That's a good point.
You're very passionate about this, Kenny.
I'm sorry I missed that statement elsewhere, but I asked for it, so I said I'd read it. I got to hold up my.
Also, you kept saying Blair, and I was like, is this like some inside joke? I don't know. I had no idea we were talking about Jadon Blair until you started reading it.
The Blair cornerback project or Blair safety.
He's
project.
safety.
Hey, Mr. Spreadsheet guy, maybe you should fix my bet because it's wrong. It's 49ers plus 4.5 against the Eagles. Thank you.
Amateur hour.
I almost want to take this one back. I don't like this. Get me off of this. I don't like being. I almost wanted to change this because the 49ers have no pass rush, but I just think stop it for how good Kyle Shanahan is as a coach in the playoffs. I'm gonna stick with it. They're gonna cover this. Eagles might win. I'm very glad. Payton, I don't know if you agree with this as a fellow NFC fan. I'm very glad one of these two teams will not go to the divisional round. I'm glad one of them's knocking the other one out, personally.
There's one team I care about getting knocked out, and it's the one the Bears play. Other than that, I don't care that much.
Okay. Nameless, faceless opponent. I respect that.
I'd rather see the Eagles lose, I guess, but if the Eagles won the Super Bowl again, I wouldn't care, really.
It's fair. I don't mind it. I would like a new champion. I like that these two are playing each other. All right, that's it. Thank you, Best Beats. Hopefully I can go 2 for 2. Do you have a joke, Mr. Payton?
I sure do. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, why can't you trust Adams? Like ATOMS.
Atoms.
This is the bomb. I don't know. Is that bad? I don't know. That's the only thing that comes to mind. Is it something like molecules or like they don't matter? I don't know. Is it something with matter?
Like they don't matter.
They don't matter is good.
Why can't you trust Adams? Do you have any guesses, Jax?
No. They're too
Okay.
small.
Why can't you trust Adams? Because they make up everything.
Oh, you were right on track, Kenny. Matter. We're all made of matter.
Thank you to Sarah Lemire for the joke.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you to Kenny for doing 2/3 of the show this week.
Thanking me for being here on my creation. It's just like thanking Steve Jobs for coming to the Apple opening.
Thank you, Steve. That's a crazy comp. Thank you actually to everybody. I did do our YouTube numbers from December. I think we had around 1,800 views. So shout out to everyone who tuned in. We really appreciate you. And
all 1,800 of you should subscribe.
Yes, you should.
Because that's how it works.
Comment shit, especially now. We need stuff to talk about. Give us some show ideas.
No, we don't. We have the transfer portal.
That's going to end eventually.
And then there's basketball. Mizzou basketball is playing better than anyone would have expected.
I'm talking about
Who asked for this for Christmas? Was it you, Payton? Did you ask for this?
June, July.
No.
Did you ask for Mizzou to play well?
I mean, I always hope Mizzou plays well in basketball. It's my favorite sport. That's not NFL football.
I'm going to do a Marvin Burks.
And sometimes baseball.
Snap count next year.
Shout out Grandma Clara for always commenting, by the way.
Our number one commenter. All right, that'll do it. We'll be back Monday. We will have a recap of the next Missouri men's basketball game, the Missouri women's basketball game, and hopefully things get a little bit easier for them on paper after a tough start to SEC life. All right, see you later, everybody.